Well, Peter, we just wrote a column saying that, a landslide is building for Biden. Things are looking really good. Tell us why we should be worried.
Well, I think there is, some cause for optimism, but as the eternal pessimist, I can also point to some lingering problems in a number of key states. Trump remains within the margin of error. Pennsylvania, he's right there. Arizona, 4 or 5. North Carolina, 2. And it doesn't take much. I listened to him carefully yesterday and today while he was on the campaign trail. He clearly is back on track. I mean, his speech today in Arizona was vintage Trump, and he had enough in an hour and 15-minute speech to lead the news for a week, and that was just today. So his highlight was calling Fauci a disaster and a dope, and what do they know? So I mean, there's no question that Trump is starting to roll again. The question is whether it's going to turn into votes or whether it's just going to be viewed as a carnival barker. So, and Joe, of course, his advertising that I see in Virginia is dreadful. It's this kind of soft, gentle stuff. Joe Biden has a plan, and you're asleep before the full 30 seconds is over. And I just, there are enough, kind of a little bit of warning signs that says, boy, are these guys able to get the ball, over the goal line, or are they going to go into a prevent defense and give up a touchdown?
Thurgood, what do you think?
Well, I remain optimistic as I was when we penned our piece, but I want to thank you, Steve, for having Peter with us just to keep me somewhat balanced in my perspective, because there's still 2 weeks to go. And he's right about some cause for concern about some of these polls in the key states. I still think we're going to have a pretty good night. And that's to say, maybe a late night, but I'm not worried that we're going to be into a lot of recounts or extended discussion about this. I take great comfort in the financial differential, the way in which some of these Senate races appear to be breaking, and that all, I think, feeds into my optimism. I also am astonished at how Trump has been just scrambling and thrashing with sort of these frantic Hail Marys. Last time I checked, Anthony Fauci has never been on a ballot. Why he's running against him like this? I know what he's trying to do, but it's kind of crazy. And he's dumping on Republican senators. I don't understand why he thinks this is the way to turn out his folks. If it works, I'll be bewildered once again, but hopefully Peter will keep me at least somewhat grounded.
Steve, I just want Biden to and his team to keep his foot on the throat of this guy, and say the advertising. Thurgood, you've seen his ads here in the D.C. area. I mean, they're pedestrian at best, aren't they?
Yeah, I have to agree. He's more than capable of doing better ads, and his speeches, like the speech at Gettysburg, have been great. Good. Yeah.
But so they're running pedestrian ads. That's the old thing. Well, we've got it in the bag. Now we'll make people feel good to go out and vote. People are going to go out and vote because they hate this SOB. That's what's going to drive them to the polls. Not a flimsy feel-good ad about Joe. But I do have to say, I've tried to early vote the last 2 days, and the line has been at least 3 hours long, both times in my polling place, which is just extraordinary.
Well, and that's the thing that I think is going to be the real difference between 2016 and 2020. And, 2016, the pollsters and the pundits undercounted Trump's support. Those people who normally didn't vote in the past, who then came out. Maybe they had never registered, or maybe they voted once every 5 times. But, that demographic of, white voters who don't have a college education, they just came out with passion for Trump. I think the pollsters and pundits are missing, or maybe had missed a bit, and are starting to recognize in 2020, it's going to be the opposite. They're going to undercount those Democratic votes. They're going to undercount the young people, minorities, who are going to really come out because, as you said, Peter, they hate this SOB. And that I think you're going to see a hidden voter this time. I think it's going to be a Biden voter and not a Trump voter. And that's why I still remain very optimistic 2 weeks out from election.
The one thing I did notice looking at the line as I was walking down it and seeing my neighbors, this was not a particularly young crowd lined up at 4:30 in the afternoon. This was wasn't a lot of senior citizens. There were a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who were, I would say about 40% were people of color, and they were not going to move an inch until they voted. I mean, they were not going home. They were going to cast a vote. There wasn't a MAGA hat among them.
It's and they talk about an enthusiasm gap. I don't see any enthusiasm gap. Thurgood, any last words for us?
No, I'm looking forward to a good night.
2 weeks to go. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
See you.